Namaste. Are you angry with yourself? Are you surprised with this question? Generally, when we are angry with somebody else, or somebody else is angry with us. This is what we generally come across. And when you are angry with somebody, it is due to something, either some incident, or sometimes it is a misunderstanding. That person does not agree with your point of view, or you are not able to understand that person's point of view, but somewhere there is a disagreement and you become angry because of that. Or sometimes if there is a lot of work, office work, and you are not able to complete that work, you are not able to do it as well as you wanted to do it, and you are not able to finish it on time. When all this happens, then there is a lot of anger, not on somebody else, it is more on yourself. When I say, are you angry with yourself? Many people may be a little bit surprised. Why should I be angry with myself? Because we have learned to blame others. Even when something goes wrong, when we have behaved wrongly also, we quickly blame somebody else. We tell them, only because of you I spoke like this. So we try to shift the blame to somebody else. But then later on the frustration settles in. The frustration comes up in the mind. Now if you think about it, if something went wrong somewhere, there was a disagreement, there was an argument, let us say, and you also spilled out a lot of words, and that bitterness is there in the mind. And after that you start doing your day-to-day work, whatever routine you have. I will give you a few examples. Supposing you do your puja, let us say. When you do puja, you light a lamp and then you keep some flowers on the pictures or the idols that you have. Then maybe you keep some prasadam, then you do the aarti. All this you may be doing. Maybe you take a few minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or maybe you even chant mantra, so it may take longer. Depends on each person's routine. Now, if you are already angry with something went wrong, or maybe you spoke something, or you made a mistake, or somebody made a mistake, whatever it is, something which is affecting you. Now with that kind of mind, when you do a puja, what happens? When you light a lamp in the house, in the puja room, while lighting a lamp, if the mind is focused, you can easily say, if there is any negative energy in this house, please burn that energy. And the lamp will be doing this the whole day, which is very good for you, very good for the house, very good for the family members. But when the mind is totally preoccupied by some incident, by some frustration, some anger, then you will not be able to do this. You will light the lamp, but with anger, with whatever happened. And then you place flowers for the idols, for the pictures. Every time you put a flower on a picture, if you can relate with that deity, whichever picture you are keeping, then you receive the blessings from that deity. You get connected to that deity. That is the purpose of puja. If there is an idol, then you keep a flower, you place a flower on the idol or at the feet of the idol. If your mind is focused there, then you get connected with that idol. Then you receive the blessings from that idol. So that is the purpose of puja. But when you are frustrated with something, your mind is completely there. Your hands may be doing this. You may be offering the flowers. You may be offering the prasadam. You may be offering the aarti also. You will finish everything. 15 minutes puja is over, and when you come out of the puja room, you are still frustrated. Now you get angry with yourself because I've completed the puja and I never even thought about God. This is the state of mind for many people. In the day-to-day life, because many of them have told me, I do the whole puja, but my mind is only running with this thought. I am not able to concentrate on God. So then what happens is, you become angry with yourself. Now supposing you are cooking in the house, let us say, another example, routine cooking, so you know what to do, automatically you do. But if the mind is focused, then what happens is, the food that you cook, it gains a lot of positive energy, and that positive energy goes to your family members, to yourself when you eat the food. That is understood. But you finish the entire cooking and your mind has been boiling with something that happened earlier. So what might happen is, something can go wrong with the cooking itself because you are not focused there. If that happens, then you get even more frustrated. Sometimes it is less salt or a little more salt or too much of spice or whatever. But sometimes the cooking may be done normally, nothing is wrong with it, you've completed it, everything is done. But throughout the process, the mind was boiling with something else, the total turmoil. So that energy, that frustration, that anger, whatever you felt, that bitterness, it all goes into the food that you cook. And that is the food that you are going to eat and your family members are going to eat. So you can understand what kind of energy you're giving them along with the food. So then what happens when you realize that you finished the whole cooking and you never focused on it even for a minute, then you feel angry with yourself. You may not acknowledge, you may not even be aware of it, but the anger comes that, oh, I did this whole thing, but I never concentrated. Then if you are a person who is working, those days, problems are there in office. Those days you used to go to office every day. Maybe now you don't, you're working from home. So the problems that are there with the office work, now they are there in the house only. Earlier maybe physically you could leave them in the office and come back home. Now you can't do that because you're sitting at home and working. So the problem itself is handled only there, sitting at home. So what happens is the frustration that comes with the problem, if you cannot solve it immediately, if it doesn't get over immediately, that entire frustration is taken out on the wife or the husband or the children or whoever is there in the house. And after some time, you will do everything with this frustration and anger. Maybe you will watch TV, maybe you will discuss certain things, and finally you will have your dinner, and finally when you go to bed, then you start feeling, why was I like this? You feel angry with yourself because you feel a little bit disappointed with yourself that you are not able to handle each and everything by itself. What happens in one area, that anger is brimming over and it's flowing over to the other areas of your life, and nobody is happy with that, especially if it is a negative energy which is flowing over to the other area. So then again you feel very angry with yourself. Now coming to the example of a student, I have always spoken a lot about students and how they can study easily. See, while studying, if your mind energy is completely focused on the studies, then whatever you read even once, it will register in the mind and very easily you will be able to recall. And of course, if you are using the mudra, alpha mudra, it becomes much easier. But even otherwise, if the mind is focused, then the performance level is very good. So when it comes to studies or when it comes to your work, definitely you do very well. But if the student is frustrated about something, some incident that happened, somewhere where you behaved badly, maybe you threw a tantrum or you shouted at somebody, something like that happened. And after that you sit down to study for 2 hours. 2 hours you keep studying, the pages are turning this way, that way, you're writing, you're doing something. But at the end of 2 hours you will find that you have not made much progress at all, because the entire 2 hours your mind was only boiling and it was in a turmoil with whatever had happened. So then what happens at the end of 2 hours, you are angry with yourself. I wasted my 2 hours of study. I did not focus on my studies. My mind energy was elsewhere. This is what happens to many people in day-to-day life. Now when the mind is still boiling or in a turmoil with whatever went wrong, or with some kind of anger, some kind of hatred somewhere, then whatever you try to do in the present moment, it doesn't turn out well at all. Now what do we do about this? How can we get rid of this? I'm sure everyone would like to have their mind completely focused on whatever they are doing at that particular moment. That is the best way to work, to be in the present, because then your performance becomes better. Your mind energy is much better, higher, and the whole energy can be focused in whatever you are doing. This is what everyone should do. But we are unable to do that because the mind is always analyzing something which already happened. So here your performance, here your behavior, everything suffers. How can we get rid of this? One way which I would recommend is to meditate. When you meditate, what happens is, whatever had happened earlier, some incident which is causing all this turmoil in your mind, you can easily release that turmoil. And maybe you can come to a conclusion about it, or maybe you can at least reconcile and say, okay, this happened, but I'm not going to think about it. Let it be there for some time. Let me focus on whatever I'm doing. That will happen only when the mind goes to the next level. And what can pull your mind up immediately like that is only meditation. Half an hour you sit and meditate. And when you meditate, what happens? You go to a little peaceful state of mind, especially with our alpha meditation. You relax the body, relax the mind, you feel really good. For some people, they experience a very powerful state of meditation. That is wonderful, that is bliss, that is anandam. But even if that doesn't happen, if you just listen to a meditation, it's like touching base every day. Half an hour, you show your mind that you can also be like this. You can be a little calm. You can be a little peaceful. So that touch base should happen every day. And when you do that for half an hour, listen to some meditation, just feel a little bit peaceful. Then what happens is that peace, that bliss, it continues with you for some time, for a few more hours or for the whole day after that. So what will happen is after meditation, when you get up and come, then you either study or you do your office work or you do your cooking or whatever you handle, it will not be so much affected by whatever incident was affecting you earlier. You will be able to get rid of that tension and your mind will be more refreshed, because this is a kind of training for the mind. Meditation is not only for spiritual purposes. Yes, it does lift you spiritually. It puts you on that spiritual path. It makes you grow spiritually. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, meditation also shows you that the mind can be a little more peaceful in your day-to-day life. It can handle things in a better way in your day-to-day life. So if you just try half an hour of meditation every day, then the rest of your day, you will not be angry with yourself. You will have less reason to be angry with yourself. You may even become happy with yourself. So why not try it? Meditate and see how you can make yourself feel much more at peace and handle things in a better way. Try it and see.